Hey y'all, I am so excited. Welcome to the month of love. Yes, I am talking about February. I got on my red for y'all. I'm serving it to you today. And because we are going to be talking all about marriage versus career, can I successfully have both? And y'all know I have none other than my dear friend and life coach, marriage coach, sexpert, sexologist, all the things that's gonna be here. She's gonna be here to help y'all spice it up. I cannot wait right after this. Dr. Gail Crowder.
What's up, Kiki Ramsey?
Yeah, I'm already having fun.
I know you. I mean, I always have fun when I come on your show and do stuff with you, but thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you're here and you are a friend of the Dr. Kiki Ramsey show and you are my friend, my sister. And so I'm just so excited to have you on the show to actually be talking about this topic because we are in the month of love.
Yes.
And it's going to be very important for, I think, our listeners and our viewers to kind of get this information and to dive in. So welcome, friend.
Welcome. And thank you. So, like I said, I'm so excited to be here. And it is the month of love. And this is my month that I get a chance to shine and just help people in their relationships and just really get things going, get the juices flowing.
Yes, I'm so excited. Hey, Jordan, thank you for joining us today on the Dr. Kiki Ramsey show. And so, speaking of that, right, you just had your annual conference, Bringing Sexy Back to the Marriage.
Yes.
And it was fire. Like when I tell you, it was so, and of course, I was there, right? But
Mhm.
it was so impactful. And I mean, I've been there every year since probably like 2012. But
I was saying we just teenagers, don't be saying since
I
2012,
know
no, like 5 years or something.
I just 5 years ago. But Nicole, hey Nicole, thanks for joining us on the show today. Um, but it was so impactful. I mean, I like I said, I've been there just only 5 years ago, since 5 years ago. But it was there were so many breakthroughs in marriage, and I think that people think if they listen to the name "Bringing Sexy Back to the Marriage," they think it's all fun and games, right? And
Mhm.
we have a lot of fun at your conference, but there's also real serious issues and topics and breakthroughs that happen. And this year, I mean, there were so many breakthroughs that happened.
Yes, it was. And let me just tell you, it's even though it is my conference, but really it's God's conference and we flow that way.
Mhm.
And this year it was beyond what I could have even thought could have happened in the women's lives. And the feedback that I have gotten was beyond any conference that I've had. And this was the 16th year, to be
Mm,
honest with you.
mm,
And this was the most impactful, not just for the participants, but for me as
mm.
a visionary. And it is like every day I get a woman in my inbox saying, "Oh my God, this happened. You guys prayed for this, or you one of your teachers talked about this, and this is happening in my marriage currently, and I'm able to deal with it, or I'm equipped to deal with it." And one of the things that you said that I really want that two women mentioned was saying, that you are a career woman and that we don't have to have, be either or are. We
Mhm.
can be both,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that really resonated not just with myself, but with a lot of the women who came there. And so this really fits in what we're going to talk about today. And
Yes.
so I'm so excited about that. That conference was impactful, but
Yeah.
also that the work that you do is impactful every single day for women who are in the career path and just struggling in so many other areas of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love it because we connected you know, 5 years ago. We
Oh,
connected and
now
it
in
was
our 20s.
right, exactly, because we 20. Uh And so, but it's that connection that we both have to women and to serving women, right? To see
Yes.
them be better in their lives, their careers, their marriages. And so that's what we are, going to be talking about today. But before we jump into all that, tell everybody what your superpower is.
My superpower to me is bringing love into people's bedrooms.
Y'all heard it, right? Y'all, we gonna be juicy on the Dr. Yeah.
That I think that's my superpower because
Yeah.
I had lost that, and once I found that, then I'm able to touch the world with that
Yeah.
message.
I love it too. And in the Happy Women Lead Academy, we're all talking all about self-love as well. And I know you talk a lot about self-love as well, because when you think about relationships and marriage and all that kind of stuff, you gotta also love yourself. But we gonna get there. We gonna get
Oh, that is something you definitely have to do.
Yeah, right. Because I know I entered my marriage and I was like, I need you to love me and right. But
Been there, done that, and have the T-shirt, and was looking for Gil to be everything that I was not,
and did. Right.
and that created all kind of disasters. All
Oh,
kind of
thank you,
disasters.
Christopher, for joining us. That's awesome. Thank you, Marvin Star, for joining us. I always see that name and I'll be like, hey, Star. Oh my God. Okay, so we're talking about, career versus marriage, if there is even a versus, right? So there's this question, and you deal with this all the time. People call you from all over the world. You literally are the one person that I know who says, oh, I got clients all over the world. You literally have clients all over the world. And some of them are really struggling with this question: marriage versus career. Can I really have both? And so, why do you think people struggle to balance marriage and career?
Because we are in a society that we look at other people's things like social media,
Yes,
television,
that
and
part.
we think that everybody has it all,
Yeah.
right? And that everybody is excelling and exceeding and living this glamorous life, and it's not real. And
Mm,
so that's the reason why all over the world, and that is a blessing to be able to say that my husband sold that into my life. I don't know how many years ago, but it has manifested that so many people ask me that question: can I have it all, and can I have it, can I be and do and accomplish all of these things all at one time?
yeah. Um, I- you know, I like you mentioned earlier, I talk about this, and or right. We have this kind of like this scarcity mentality, and so that question has even popped up just in a lot of the circles, like that we can't have both, right, in our lives.
Mhm.
And I'm like, we need to watch how we look at in how we talk about things in our lives. And I have this this methodology that I talk about. It's called the mixed balanced approach, meaning,
Mhm.
yeah, you might not can have like 100% or 90% of, or 50% of this and 50% of that. And at any given time in your life, you might need more of this than you need that, right? Or
Mhm.
you might have more time for this than you have that. And I'm wondering, when it comes to marriage, have you ever even struggled with trying to figure out the balance?
Absolutely. I had a T-shirt, the hat, and the banner. Absolutely. And the thing is that it was many times, just being open and honest, that I felt like I failed,
Mm,
right? Because I felt like if I was succeeding in my career,
yeah.
and at the time I was working a full-time job, trying to build, bringing sexy back to the marriage. Then my children were young and they were in sports and doing 1,000 different things. And then, I was like, okay, I got to try to find some, room for God, because he's the one who made me do all of this stuff. So then I tried to get involved with the women's ministry and all that kind of stuff. And then I was dropping the ball in so many different places
Mm.
that I felt like I was failing at all of them, right?
Wow.
And I did not realize, because people are like, oh, you can live this balanced life and everything can be perfect. You're only one person. And
Yeah.
I had to step back and I had to realize that I could not be a master of everything, right? But I could operate in the best way that I could when I was at home. I could put down and not be a workaholic, right? And
Mhm.
say that I have given the Gazette Washington Post my 8 hours. So I'm not going to bring this home with me, that I needed to take off that hat, just like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, they operate different. Then
Mhm.
I needed to take off that hat and say, okay, I'm no longer at work. I'm no longer running a sales staff. So I can't talk to Gil and my children like they're my staff. I need to talk to them like, he's my husband
Mm.
and they're my children. And so I had to make that transition. And I mentioned this before. I tell women, when they work outside of the home, the best thing that you can do is, when you get home, is take off your clothes and change clothes.
Woo! Why? Why, Dr. Gail?
Why do you change clothes? Because it's like taking off a layer of authority and stepping into a new position.
Mm, mm, mm.
And I had to learn that, because I would, be dressed really, really nice going to work. And then when I would come home, I would just, change my shoes to my slippers or something like that
Mhm.
and begin to cook and go on. But I still was in that authoritative role, because I had led 500 and something sales staff all day, right?
Yes.
So I needed to be able to take that off, switch clothes, and realize that I'm no longer operating in that title, that
Mm.
I am Gail's wife. So I have to fall under that submission, right? And then I needed to be more gentle and not dictate to my children like I talk to my employees. And
Wow.
so I had to make sure that I began to change clothes, because then when I changed clothes, I realized that I had changed jobs, if that makes sense.
Woo! Girl, listen, y'all hear. Okay. You're preaching. Like, no,
I don't mean to preach. I just telling you what works.
but it does, because I mean, I remember you saying that, once before, and I started doing it, and it makes a difference. It's so funny because even yesterday, well, I work from home, so I mean, I need to, and my office is here, and so I just got to go right up them stairs, and I still change the clothes because I'll
I do
have
too.
on
I do
this,
too.
this. My bottoms are, well,
Mhm.
that's a different story, right? Well, we dress from here up, right?
Yeah.
We dress from here up. So I still have to go take this part off
Yeah.
so that it can center me and bring me back down to life, and to understand that, all right, now I'm in mommy mode, I'm in wife mode. Let me, try to
Mhm.
figure out what's for dinner, all those kinds of things. And so that really has helped the way I do things in my own household. It's so key. It's so
It
key.
is. And I still do it as well. I have to, dress for my clients and, my videos and, all that kind of stuff. But I do transition into more lounge clothes and stuff like that when I switch hats and I get off at 5 or 6, or, whenever I'm
Mhm,
off, right?
mhm.
Because again, you still have that mentality. I'm still running a business, and your marriage and your children and your friendships are not a business.
Ooh, no, they not, honey.
They're not
They
a business.
not.
They're
They
not.
are not. So let me get down to the question. Do
Okay.
you think that we could have a marriage and career, and we could have them both successfully?
Absolutely.
Mm,
You can.
I love that.
You can. But it's a give and take thing,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And it takes working together with your spouse, being open and honest about your needs, your wants and desires, and understanding that you're not going to be perfect, and that you're not going to be 100% in every single area of your life,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
And so sometimes you're going to have to tell your spouse, listen, I'm planning this conference, and
Mhm.
this was a perfect example. Gil, so I'm not going to be able to cook Monday through Thursday like I normally would, right? And I'm going to be, having to work with my assistant to do my PowerPoints and stuff. So can you pick up the ball and make sure that dinner is done and make sure the girls are doing what they need to do or whatever? So it's about effectively communicating your needs, your wants and desires, right?
Mhm.
And letting them know that you're not just throwing your marriage out the door, but I need to rise to the occasion for this, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely,
And so
absolutely.
now that I've gotten back home, right,
Mhm.
and that I've gotten some rest or whatever, I have switched and transitioned, and I'm back to my normal routine. So the answer to your question is yes, but it takes effective communication and understanding that you can't be 100% at every single thing at every given time. It's just not going to happen.
It's not even possible, right?
It's
Like,
not.
I mean,
But we think that it is,
we
and
do.
then we beat ourselves up
Mhm.
when it does not happen.
Exactly. And that's what I hate for us, especially as women. Um, and because we internalize this, kind of like when I travel, and I gave that example, right? I
Mhm,
travel, my kids hate for me to go.
mhm,
And I don't like to leave them either. But I know I know that I have to work, right?
mhm.
Well, I want to work. I
Okay.
let me say that, right? I want to work.
Mm.
And so I hate leaving them, but I also like going, right? Does that make sense? Like
Yes,
I hate leaving them because I'm gonna miss them, but I also love going because I love what I'm doing when I'm gone.
yes.
And so that's that both and and I operate from this abundance, and I think about it when it comes to marriage. But the question is there this double standard when it comes to marriage for the more dominant person, man or woman, to then prioritize? Is there a double standard when it comes to women versus men prioritizing their career in this relationship?
I think it is. And the reason why I say that is because society has said that men are supposed to be out in the streets conquering, providing, and doing all of these things. So they have a whole different set of pressures than
Mhm,
we do. And
mhm,
I will say this about men: most men don't put more on their plates than they can execute. See,
mm.
we women, we say yes to
We
too many things.
mm.
And then when we get into it, we get upset that our significant others, our husbands, are not taking up the slack for all the stuff that we said yes. And I'm talking about Gail, so I won't put it on anybody else. But I
Me.
used to be mad that I said that I was going to do this, be a part of this group, go here, do something at the church, take the kids to, football practice and all the stuff that I
Yep.
signed them up for and paid for and whatever. And then when Gil got home, I'm like, I can't cook. And he like, well, gee, you the one said that Joshua could play basketball and Jessica could play football at two different schools,
Woo!
and
Okay.
and they practice is in an hour and a half different. Like, oh, I did that.
Yes,
And then
we
I
do
say, now
that.
I gotta be on a meeting with the church ladies. And he's like, whoa, like, really, what do you want me to do?
What do you want me to do? Because you done got yourself into a whole pickle by yourself. And it's funny because Jamil, he'll do that. I was just asking him to a question about potentially leading another group or doing something else. And I go to him, and because I know he's gonna be the reason, right?
Yeah.
Like he's gonna be the reasoning voice, right? And
And
I
I
think
don't
we all
like it
need
when
that.
Gil tell me, well, gee, you just was saying you burnt out on X. Why would you add something else?
Something else to your plate, and we
Yeah.
always do it. And so I went to him, and he was like, well, the question then becomes, I swear my husband be coaching me, right? My husband good. He's like, the question then becomes, um, can you commit to that
Wow.
beyond just thinking about it, how good it'll be? Can you make the commitment to it? And I was like,
Mhm.
like, yeah, like But that's the question. And I think we all need that in our lives, at least that or somebody to be able to help us ask the question, is this, can this work for where I am right now? Do I need to take something off of my plate if I want to do this? Like, we don't do that. Why?
Because we think we're superwoman and we think that if God gave us that idea, we got to execute it right now. Like it's got to be right now. It could be for the future. Sean
That's
said
instant
that good
gratification.
man gave us a great balance. Yes.
Yes, really.
But no, seriously, it in our minds, and I am so guilty of that. If he gave it to me, I have to execute it right now. It's not somebody else is gonna do it, and like I go through all of this stuff, right? And then you see social media and you see all these women. I have 5 different streams of income and I'm doing this, but are they all effective? Are you a jack of all trades and master of none? And I'm not throwing no shades because I've been there. You see what I mean?
Oh, hell. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the question,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
And you know, I've been there even when we was doing Seal the Deal. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Y'all, you were
It
you
was
used to do
phenomenal.
a conference called uh Spill the Deal. And it was for single women who
Mhm.
desired to get married. Um,
Yes.
yeah.
And we was amazing at it. A lot
Mhm.
of women got married from it, right?
They did.
But at the end of the day, was that what we were supposed to be doing, trying to build other things?
Yeah.
And the answer is no. It ran us ragged and we was not the most effective at it. Not saying, and that was the wrong word, because people
We
did
were
get
effective at
results.
it, but we got tired, and some of the other things that we want to do or we were purposed to do
Purpose, yes.
were
Had to go to the
lacking.
way.
Because
Yes.
you were always been, working with married people. Like, that's been your calling in life,
Mhm.
is to really pour into the lives of people who are married to help them make sure they can maintain that. And me is pouring into the lives of women in total and help them, really dig into their purpose and their
Mhm.
happiness and stuff like that. And so I think we had a lot of success with that conference, but the reason why we stopped this was like, well, you know what? We're more passionate about some of these other
The
things,
things,
and
yeah.
God is calling us in those
Mhm.
directions, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And so I think that that's really important. Hey, Lamar, how you doing? It's good to see you, brother. And Sean, thank you for joining as well, sis. And so I think that it's important for us to understand that, there is this standard when it comes to marriage and career. And I think that men definitely have this priority out there to be these providers and stuff like that. But in the 21st century where we're in, there's a lot of women who work. I mean,
Yeah.
we are two income household, right? Like, I mean,
We are too.
and and so if I don't work, then we gotta change some things around. And
Mhm.
I like lobster and uh, all those things, right? So I mean,
You just bougie.
yeah, they call me a little bougie, but it's all good, right? It's all good.
Christopher, you hear that? Christopher's on here too. Christopher, you hear that? She admitted she's bougie now. Don't let it, because she'll say, "I didn't say that." Yes, you did.
I mean, we truthful on the Dr. Keith Ramsey show. We truthful. But the thing is this, right? I want to know what, besides, because we talked about effective communication,
Mhm,
what can couples do? Can I say couples, right?
mhm.
Because if you're in a marriage and you're in a pretty decent marriage, you're gonna have to figure out ways that work for the two of you, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm just as passionate about my career as Dr. Jamil Ramsey, right?
Mhm.
You are just as passionate about your career as Gil Cropper, right?
Yeah.
And so when two people are so passionate about what they do, and they have other responsibilities, like you got your kids, I got my kids, all that kind of stuff, and we got to eat,
Mhm.
just all of that, right?
Mhm.
What can we do to, for lack of a better word, balance? Because we already said that balance doesn't mean equal parts, right?
Mhm.
But what can we do to kind of work it out? Because sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do.
the first thing is that you have to get real with yourself, right?
Mm.
And realize, am I setting myself up to fail and feel bad? That's the first thing,
Okay.
because I had to get real with Gail, because
Okay.
I thought that I could have it all and, follow all of these people on. Oh, they doing this, they doing this. Oh, I see them, but you don't see all of that behind the scenes that ain't really happening. So
Mhm.
the first thing is you have to get real with yourself. And stop lying to yourself and think that you can conquer the world in
Mhm.
24 hours, like we see other people think that they're doing,
Right.
right? Okay, so that's number one. The second thing is that for me, I am one that writes it down, because
Mm.
the word of God is very clear. Write the vision, make it plain. So I had to write down everything that I had put on my plate and realize that I was not Superwoman, and I was feeling bad that I was not meeting my obligations outside of my, 9 to 5 job at the time, because I needed to make that paycheck. So the first thing was I write it down. The
Right.
second thing is look and say, what can I take off of my plate?
Mm.
Am I sitting on the phone gossiping with my girlfriends too long? Take that off. We're going to shorten our conversations. And I'm just being honest. The other thing is, what can I delegate to someone else? And
Okay.
when I say someone else, at the time when I was overwhelmed and lying to myself, I had teenagers in the house, but I was
Mm.
still thinking that I could do the laundry and that I could do all of these things. So I had to say to them, listen, you are capable of doing laundry. So your laundry day is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and yours is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, or whatever, how that worked out.
Mhm.
Right. So that took that off my plate. And then the other thing is that y'all can only play one sport at a time. So if you playing basketball, then Justin, you're gonna have to wait to play your sport at a different season, because I'm only one person, and I can't get mad at Gil because he didn't got off too late, and then I'm mad because I'm trying to cook and run to get you. I can't do it. So I had to have that open and honest conversation, and then
Wow.
I had to sit down and say, okay, I cannot be a part of all of these organizations because they're costing me more than I'm giving to them,
Mm.
right?
Ooh, you said say that again. Now
They're
that right
costing
there is
me
powerful.
more than I'm giving to them.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's good. That's
yeah.
good, sis. For real.
They're costing me more than I'm giving to them. And
Wow.
so I had to say, I can't do all of these organizations because I wanted to be involved with all of these things, right?
Dang.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
no, I just pause because do you understand how good that was? Yes, Lamar, right? Because here's the thing. We listen, I will admit, I love to do all the things.
I do. I like to be in the place. I like to be invited to everything. I do.
I love to do all the things.
But
But
what cost?
ooh, not even just money though, like mental space in
Say
your head
yes,
because you worry
time.
about
Because
what you
when we
can't do.
live, it takes me
Mm.
45. Well, I live out the booty. So 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And then I get there. I'm only there for an hour and a half. And then got it too much. Too much.
Oh, that right there resonated with my soul because I know that somebody else like right because Delana was like, yes, write it down, make it plain. But we do give so much, and then okay, y'all here. That just
So I had to get real. So
yeah.
that's the first thing. And then Gil and I, after I got real with myself, right,
Mhm.
and quit getting upset with him because he wasn't stepping in all my mess, right?
Right.
Then we sat down and I told him, I said, these are the things that I felt that I have been dropping the ball on as your wife, right?
Mm.
And I want to apologize,
Yeah.
and I want to start from here. These are the things that I could commit to.
Mm.
That's where the commitment from Monday through Thursday that I'm going to cook for my family, because that's the way I show love. And
Mm.
that was the way for us to bring our family together, and the conversations that we have around the table. I've learned so much about my children and their struggles and what's going on with them or whatever. I
Yeah.
learned so much just from sitting down and having dinner. And
Yeah.
I was missing that component because I was making money so I could bring home the bacon and let them,
Right.
whatever. But it was not healthy
Hmm. Number
and
one.
it was not wise.
Yeah.
So I,
Go
I,
get
I made
Tiffany,
a
Lamar.
commitment.
Go get her.
I was committed to help bring back my family structure with
Yeah.
being able to sit down and have dinner with my family. And then I made a commitment that between a certain hours, Gil and I would have time just to be a couple and not talk about all my craziness that I was bombarding him with when he got home. So
Yeah.
my thing to any couple or any woman or any man that is struggling and trying to think that you can have it all and all this kind of stuff is get real with yourself
Yeah.
and
Wow.
realize that you are the center of your chaos and you have the ability to change that.
Because it can work. Because we can have both.
You can have both,
We can have
but it's
both.
not going to ever be 100 100. It's just not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I am a big proponent of an abundance mindset, an abundance way of living is that you can have it all, but your all looks different. And I
It
thank you
does.
so much. Everybody's all looks different for them, and it's not a 50-50 kind of thing. And so I really, really appreciate you breaking that down for us because I really feel like we needed to hear that. And so when people be coming for me like, how you gonna have it all? Because y'all people be coming.
Yeah. Oh,
People
they
wake,
do.
people
Woo.
wake up and choose violence all day, right? But so they'll come for us, not understanding how we're thinking about the subject or the topic. And when I talk about balance, I talk about a mixed balanced approach, meaning nothing is 50-50. It might be 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, right?
Mhm.
All of that. And so I just think that you just broke it down for us so beautifully. And I'm glad that somebody else feels that we can have it all. We can both be successful. Me and my husband both are doctors,
Mhm.
right? Like we both was in school getting our PhD at the same time. Now, am I saying it wasn't
My
crazy?
hats was off to you guys. I don't know how you did it.
It
I
was
don't know
crazy.
how, because
You know it.
When Gil was in school, and then I was, we played tag team. We were not in school at the same time
I don't
because I
suggest
think
it.
we wouldn't have survived. Because I was just like, this is
I
too
don't
much.
suggest it.
And
Trust me,
then you
I don't
had
suggest
two
it.
children under the age of 5. Oh my God. Sean
Yeah.
said I asked people to stop inviting me. That's good, Sean.
No, it's good. You know what? Because that's good. Because here's the thing: what we don't realize is that no is a whole sentence. And Lamar said there's also guilt associated with not giving your children all the things and all opportunities. And you know what, Lamar? You're so right because you just hit on this, Gail. You hit on the fact that you said one of y'all can do sports at the same time. That's so hard,
Yep.
right? Like that's a hard thing to do. I mean, I know with my kids, Mackenzie's in ballet. Trey is, here's the thing, we signed him up for soccer at school. And so that helps us, right? Not having to be running around on the weekends all crazy and stuff. And then they both do swim. So we still running, but that's a hard thing because we do want to give our kids a better life, especially if we got it, right? I think
Yeah.
that is one of those things like, and even if you don't have it, you still desire to give your children all the things,
Yes.
right?
And it's hard. It really is hard, but you have to realize it's only one of you, right?
Mm.
And your commitment when you got married was to your spouse,
Ooh,
right?
say that one more.
Your commitment was to your spouse, right? And if you're married to
Hmm.
a man or a woman that wants to see you win, they're going to help you and want to see you develop in your career.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the covenant that you made with your career and all this other stuff.
Ooh, girl,
And
you talk.
so we have to be mindful of that. When I said I learned to delegate it,
Yes, delegate.
delegate it or delete it. I love that.
There you
But
go.
it is true. We didn't, when we signed up and said I do, we signed up to that person, right? Not
Mhm.
all of these other things. And like I said, that was a hard one for me. It really was, because I
Yeah.
was like, when you met me, I was making my own and could take care, all of those things that goes on in your mind.
As Sean can say, that boss mentality, right? We
That
bring
boss
that boss
mentality. She just called
mentality.
And it is killing our marriages, it's killing us as women, and it's making our men feel like we don't need them.
So you can be a boss without being a boss in your marriage.
And you can be a boss without being bossy in your marriage.
There you go.
Because I had to learn that too, that Gil was not my child. Remember I told you he's not my child.
You need to create a shirt, boss, not bossy.
Yeah, that's what you need to do, Sean.
I want my cut. Oh my God.
I want my cut. I want my 5 cents. That was good. Me and Kiki came up with that. Anyway, but yeah. So
oh my gosh. Well, you know what? Oh my God, we are over time.
Okay.
This, me and you, we could just continue to talk. This is such a good topic, and I just hope that if you are listening to us or watching us live right now, thank you for joining us. And share this with somebody else. And so I want to know, first of all, before we leave, what's going on with you and how can people get in contact with you?
Well, oh my God, there's some amazing things happening. But the first thing is in the middle of February, so say in the middle of February, actually February the 20th, I'm going to be starting a 10-day Bringing Sexy Back to the Marriage challenge. So look out for that. And then in September, I'm going to be doing an intensive called, Unleash 2.0. And it's going to be a hands-on intensive that I've been wanting to do for years. So I'm going to manifest that. And there's so many things that I have going on. So if you visit my website, GailCrowder.com, please follow me on all my social media. And it's just my name, Gail Crowder. I would love that. And so that's how people can get in contact with me, just by my name. My website is GailCrowder.com, and then on all my social media platforms.
Yay. Oh my God. Y'all listen. Please get in contact with her. She's always doing some amazing things for married couples and women. And if you've never been to a Gail Crowder sponsored event, I'm going to say do it, because it will change your life. It will change your marriage. And it's just so amazing. And if you are a woman who wants more support and you want to really start digging into self-love, I invite you to come on over to the Happy Women Academy and join us. And you can just go to happywomenlead.com. We have a coaching session coming up sometime next week that I'd love to invite you all to. And you get a free week trial when you join the community. So if you're with us today, share this with somebody. Somebody needs to hear this conversation. And other than that, until next time, bye, y'all.
Bye, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us.